Hello and welcome to the B2B Comms Breakdown, and welcome back if you've seen one of our previous lives. I'm Iowa Bass. I am a marketing consultant and I work with architects and engineers and lots of people in the built environment, and I do, strategy, content and campaigns. Over to you, Stacey.
And I'm Stacey Meadwell. I'm a former B2B property journalist turned content creator, content strategist. I also do training and do a bit of moderating as well.
Moderating and doing stuff. Okay, so back in May last year, we were sat in a cafe eating cake in Vauxhall on one of the bank holiday weekends, because I looked back through my notes, and we were having tea and cake as usual, and we had an idea that we wanted to bring back doing LinkedIn live streams, which did come on to be known as the B2B Comms Breakdown. And we decided on our goals, who it was for, what the format would be, and who would do what. And in 2023, we did our first B2B comms breakdown. It's really hard to say, live, and have done them more or less monthly ever since. But as a content strategy, Stacey, has it worked?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And before I just launch into the format for today, if you are watching live, please say hello in the comments so we know, because we can't tell who's watching until people actually put something in the comments. So if you are watching live, say hello so we know people are there. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
I was going to say hello, and also tell us what you like about the show and why you tune in.
Yes, great idea. Good on theme there. I like it.
I know. So, ideas.
So as I said back in May, we were eating cake so high on sugar, we came up with a plan for the B2B comms breakdown, and we are going to go back to our original plan and have a look at what we've done and whether it has delivered on our goals. What were our goals and has it delivered? What has gone right? What has gone wrong? And importantly, what lessons we have learned along the way from this particular content strategy. As always, we really want to hear from you as well. So we're going to be talking for probably about 20 minutes. Io's got some lovely slides that she's created. She's crunched the numbers. If you have a question or a comment about anything that we're talking about, pop it into the comments and we'll pick it up and we'll come to that towards the end. So let's go over to you, Io, and what were our goals back in May?
Actually, I think probably I just had a thought, which is usual. Sorry. But I was thinking, like, one of the reasons we wanted to do this episode was because for us, this is what everyone should be doing when it comes to their content. It's like, taking stock, looking back and reviewing. And for us, one of the reasons we wanted to do this episode was actually we think that this is what more of our clients and more of the industry should be doing. Is this working? What were our original goals? What do we need to tweak? And that's one of the reasons we put this one together. So I just want to flag that. But in terms of our goals overall in May 23, our goals were visibility to win work, connection, relationship building, target audience building, content generation, and having fun and enjoying it. So
yes, that's very important.
It's hugely important. Yeah. So I guess visibility to win work. Have we done that, Stace? Or what do you reckon?
Well, I think we're going to come on to that, but that was kind of the, that was the primary goal, was being more visible, building our personal brands, making more people aware of who we are, the sort of things that we talk about, what we know about. So yeah, that was that. I think that was obviously the most important goal. I mean, I think that's pretty much a strong goal for a lot of content, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
In terms of what you're doing. And the other one is connection. I think is an important one. We wanted to build out our network, strengthen connections with existing contacts, and find new contacts. Just build that network, make it bigger.
And I think as well, in terms of our services as well, we wanted to do more speaking work and that kind of thing, which was that was a driver for both of us, wasn't it? Doing more lives and speaking and all of that kind of more, I guess, not face to face, but online kind of speaking, or also in person as well. So it was part of what we were looking to do as well, wasn't it? That in terms of visibility.
Yeah, it's really good practice for doing it. I think for talking live, it's, you know, it does put you on the spot. It does make you think on your feet. Things go wrong. Things have gone wrong in previous episodes, and you just have to handle it. So it is good. It's very good for that, and I think it's also good. It's also been a good exercise in properly planning out a content strategy and delivering, because it's not one piece of content. It's
It's a
many
series of
things.
actions, isn't it?
It is a series of actions. So you're doing the circle that you did for your presentation from Digital Women yesterday.
Of course, I did this
what
fantastic presentation about a kind of flywheel. So you know what? This is our flywheel. It's attract and engage, connect, attract and engage, connect. And it keeps getting bigger and compounding. There you go. I'll do a link to that.
And I've mentioned sort of like, you know, connections and relationship building is part of that, getting in front of the right people, but also content generation, you mentioned, was one of our goals, and that's one of the steps, one of the processes, is thinking strategically about this not just being a one-off, and what content that we can generate as a result of doing these lives. Because I think if you're just going for a one-off, it's because like it's a lot of work just to do one thing. So so those were our goals. Did we deliver against those goals? Let's have a look. And do say hello in the comments if you are watching live.
Yeah, because actually we've got no comments, which is a bit weird for us.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that means that we are actually going live. But yeah, if you are you know, watching live, please do say hello, because it would be good to know that people are there.
I was going to say, just before we kick off, did you want to quickly chat through the themes? I don't think I put them in the slides actually in the end.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So what I did was I went back through. We've done 10 of these. We had December off, and this is our 11th LinkedIn live, so we haven't quite done 12. We did 11. I think we gave ourselves December off because it was just before Christmas when we would have been doing it, and we figured that people would have their minds on other things. So some of the things that the key themes that we have covered are content strategy, obviously, and longevity of your content, extending the life of your content, which I've just kind of alluded to in terms of content generation and how you can take a piece of content and make it last longer. You know, repurposing has come up quite a bit in many of our lives. Oh no, that was me.
We are live.
I thought we'd got. I thought we got a comment, but it's you.
Hey, it's me. Hi.
Okay.
I checked my phone. We are live. I had a look. We're on our phone.
Good. We've also covered personal branding and finding your voice, and we've looked at that in two different ways. First of all, getting the confidence to put yourself out there and, you know, build your profile on social channels like LinkedIn, but also how you can be authentic and be yourself and sort of build your personal brand. We've done a couple of sessions around LinkedIn and using LinkedIn better, because I think it's a very important platform for B2B content.
Absolutely.
I think it's probably depending on your audience. It's the social channel, I think, for
it's
the
social channel for B2B. That's exactly what I say. And I think it basically everyone's here at some point. Even if they're not here every day, they are here. And I think that's the thing for me. Okay, shall we go into the stats? So these are facts and stats.
Yeah.
Okay, so can't really read that. That's quite a bit too small on my screen. But anyway, let's have a look. So in terms of slides, so like Stacey said, we actually did 10 episodes last year. And what was interesting was looking at the stats and I guess in line with our goals. And we had lots of discussions about what was our most successful episode, because on paper, you could look at, you know, discovery and impressions, and you could say, actually, the ones that, you know, the first episode we did, or, you know, the one about mastering thought leadership probably had the most impressions. But actually, if you look at the people that actually attended and the views, it's actually a lot less than some of the others. So stats is quite an interesting one. And one of the reasons we wanted to talk about it today was because stats, you can tell any story you want them to tell. And I think you need to look at stats in terms of, I guess, qualitative and quantitative as well. So for us, stats wise, depending on what you look at, I would say our most successful episode probably is the hidden LinkedIn one, just because of the sheer amount of feedback we had from people in online communities, from people on social media all around. But I think as well, it's just when you're looking at content strategy, it's understanding what your goals are. And actually for us, that engagement goal and that feedback, both in person and online, and the traction that it got for us as a total whole, that for me is the most important and the most, I guess, the best episode we had. How do you feel, Stace?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can look at, if we were to go by pure impressions on the LinkedIn posts, it's a very different picture. But impressions are a fairly empty stat, I would say. You know, impressions are just the number of people who've had your post put in their feed. Doesn't mean to say they've looked at it, doesn't mean to say they've engaged with it. And I think that engagement piece, the response, is far more important and far more valuable. So, you know, I mean, you can splice and dice the stats however you want, but it's looking at the right ones and the ones that I think are meaningful to your goals.
Yeah, and for us, I guess the ones that are our total attendees, who's actually shown up to the live itself, and the unique visits, because that's also about how many people are showing up. But for me, the discovery one doesn't matter. The impressions, unique views doesn't really matter. And then for me, it's the engagement stats. It's the comments and that kind of thing of. And I think the more kind of engagement we have, it makes us feel better. I say, it does. And you know, I'm being honest, it's quite hard. I mean, you and I were saying before this, we produce a lot of content in a lot of ways, and it can be hard to keep pushing stuff out and not having engagement and feedback. And I think for us, so you do have, I mean, you do have that thing of nobody's out there. No, Alison now is. She says sorry she's late. I guess it's sunny as well. That could be another factor. The people are actually outdoors.
Yes, very good point. But coming back to your point about attendees, you know, one of the reasons why we like doing video, and we did try audio, but one of the reasons we like doing video is because it sits as a video on your profile, and people can go back and rewatch it, and you can send the link to people so people can watch the replay. So I think that is really important, because, you know, you might have a small number of people watching live. You know, not everybody is available at the right time, but people will watch on catch up and, you know, watch the replay. So the stats build over time. And I think, you know, if you just take it as a snapshot, it's you know, that's only one part of the story.
One part of the puzzle, isn't it? And that's the thing, isn't it? Content and strategy is a puzzle. And I think it's looking at all the various pieces, and then understanding actually which ones are the most important to build what we want to build, right? So anyway, so that's kind of our overview kind of stats. I know best episode, which to us is definitely the hidden features of LinkedIn, because lots of people found it really valuable. We created a whole stack of content on the back of it, which also went really well. And I think, just generally the amount of comments and engagement we had on that.
Yeah.
And I think people really did learn stuff from it, about stuff they hadn't been aware of. And dare I say it as well, I mean, we would have used hashtag LinkedIn, which would be probably one of the most important hashtags to use as well, which would have helped the traction in terms of getting bums on seats, as it were.
Definitely.
And this is just some of the assets that we created on the back of that one episode. So LinkedIn posts, we did a rather lovely carousel. I do carousels. And then we also obviously had our own newsletters. Stacey did a write-up. So we definitely sweated that one as much as we could. And it's probably one we'll bring back in some shape or form again, because there is so much to learn about LinkedIn. It's always changing all the time. So, you know, it's just finding ways, I guess, to come up with the topics. It doesn't sound too samey. That's really it. But in terms of the essence of it, we'll definitely do it again. Just a few more things that we also look at in terms of stats in LinkedIn. I mean, over the years, LinkedIn's analytics have definitely got better since 2023. They're always improving. So it's really worth looking. So now you can kind of look at, for us, we're a lot of what we do, we always look at kind of job titles, I find, whenever I'm working with clients or for myself. So it's understanding, am I hitting the right types of audience? So in terms of the people I work with, it will be marketeers, it will be founders, it will be senior level people. Are those people watching these lives? And I think that type of looking at kind of some of the demographics really does help us to understand that what we're doing is landing where we need it to land. So we also look at that in terms of making sure what we're doing is right.
But you only know that if you've set your goals right at the very start. And when we did have our planning when we were deciding what we were going to do, how we were going to do that, is we actually sat down and we drew up a list of our target audience so that we could measure the success of or failure of the lives against like, you know, are we reaching the right people? Which is why it's really important, I think, to have a plan, and as you said right at the start, to have a review and to go back and review how you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, talking of stats, LinkedIn improved their analytics in January. So they started giving us specific video stats. So just looking at that, which was useful. So you get things like watch time now, you know, minutes viewed, peak live viewers, which is like how many people were online watching your thing at peak, you know, the most number, which is always good to know, because some people drop in and drop out, or only just click in and then they're gone. So it's also good to see that. So they're starting to give much more detailed video analytics, which is interesting, because like Stacey says, we can see that LinkedIn is starting to prioritize video a lot more. I was on my phone yesterday, just scrolling through, watching a video, and then a short clip video. Then I suddenly realized on my phone that it'd gone full screen, and it actually felt like I was on TikTok, which was weird. But I didn't actually know what platform I was on, because I couldn't tell I was on LinkedIn. I suddenly was clicking out. I was like, oh my God, that's LinkedIn. And then it starts playing you videos that it thinks you will like. So like, I was literally lost in a weird vortex of like videos just coming up and up. And I was like, this is completely new. And I think that is kind of it. They're going to try and compete on short form content. So that's just another thing to kind of note. And herein ends my slides. Do you want to add anything on that?
No. I think it will be interesting, because obviously we've only had the more detailed video stats since the beginning of the year. So obviously going forward, we can monitor those, and we can track those a lot more closely, because we'll have a lot more data to work from. And the other thing that we actually discovered, which is a lesson learned, which we're going to come on and talk about in a bit more detail, but one of the lessons we learned is that some of the data you get on these events disappears after 180 days. So it's useful to know that before the time has passed, so you can actually record the data. So obviously that's a hard lesson to learn. That's something we got wrong, because we didn't realize that the stats would disappear. So it's always worth keeping up to date and recording these things more regularly than we have, rather than wait for a year and then go, right, let's go back and see what our stats have done, and realize that a big chunk of them aren't there anymore.
I was going to say it, and now we have a rather handy spreadsheet.
And now we do. So we have a spreadsheet that we can keep filled in. Yeah. So shall we talk about those are the stats. So shall we talk a bit about the anecdotal results? You know, what the stats don't show. So you know, as to what we've delivered and what we've achieved.
So I think doing lives has helped me to secure more speaking roles, and things like that. So that's been really useful for my business. But also, I got commissioned to do a podcast series as well, which is about to go into season 2. Exciting, on integrated transport. Very fun, which I do love. But so I got things like that. But also, when I'm out networking, I do have people come up and go, oh, I watch your lives with Stacey, and things like that, which is absolutely lovely. So I think a lot of all the content that I produce, which includes these lives, is about that visibility and what I want to be known for, and people getting used to my voice and knowing, oh, she does speak, oh, she does this. And I think it's that kind of recognition. And I think it makes it a lot easier when I'm out and about networking. And it really, really does. And I think that for me, that's the biggest thing, is that it just makes it easier to head out and about, especially if I don't feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would completely agree with that. I've I've actually had training work, had LinkedIn training work off the back of our first LinkedIn, first live about LinkedIn. And I've had people come up to me and mention, and I've had people who have dropped in, who've messaged me and even mentioned that they've watched a live or watched a replay. And it's
or shared
also,
it with
I've
their
also,
teams as well. I had a few people who shared it with their teams, like junior members on the teams. I say, watch this because it gives them good advice, which is useful. It's really flattering.
And it helps build. Well, I've mentioned earlier that it helps build your experience in talking live and public speaking, but it also has brought about new connections, quite often as a result of a live. People who have watched for the first time and I'm not connected with will connect afterwards, or I will connect with them, and it sort of helps build those connections, and it helps build the relationship with my existing connections as well, because people can see me, people who've never met me, and have only ever read posts, can actually see me talking live. And so people, I've got work out of it, and it has built visibility. And obviously the most important goal is having fun doing this, and I think that has been particularly important because it keeps you going, and we do really enjoy it. And I think if you don't enjoy doing this sort of thing, then it's probably not the right thing. I mean, there's always going to be an element of you need to push yourself and have a go, and give it a few goes. Don't just do one, be terrified, and then not do it again. But if you after a few tries you're really not enjoying it, you've given it a good go, then it's not the thing. But we always said, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy doing this, and we both really enjoy doing these lives every month. And as you showed in your slides, we've created an awful lot of content. These events are never one thing. They're part of my wider content strategy because of the amount of content that they generate.
Go on. Sorry, no.
There is a little bit of inconsistency, and I'm going to put my hand up, and that I don't do everything I could do with every single episode. And there's lessons to learn there. But generally, they are good, and I think also they help with our creativity as well, because you have to think very strategically, you have to think creatively about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to promote it, and all of those kind of things.
I was going to say, before we launch into our lessons learned, let's maybe just talk through our process, because we have to kick off each episode, we will have we have an ideas document, we have a monthly, we have a catch up, and we'll have an initial kind of briefing call where we talk through ideas. Stacey then writes stuff up. And then, but this is true, because I think let's talk through just our little kind of process we're in a way.
Yeah.
And then once we've kind of agreed a title and the main blurb, the main copy, then we'll produce some graphics, or I'll produce some graphics, and then we basically post it live. We agree who's going to host it, and that's kind of the main bulk of the work, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's normally a week to 10 days out that we get the actual event invite out. And then we invite people directly, don't we? Go on.
Yeah, and then we normally have a follow-up call to just talk through, because once we've come up with the initial ideas and created the event, come up with a description and the key talking points, we normally have a follow-up call where we'll just talk through, kind of plan what we're going to say, who's going to do which bits, what, and from that I normally write a script. I hate to kind of expose the sort of workings behind the scenes, but there is a script. And we both promote it. We both promoting on LinkedIn is hard.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn hates web links, and the way you do live streams is you have to use an external provider, which means your event automatically has an external link. So any post that you do, the event post, if you put a link into the event post, it just kills the reach. So you have to do a lot. So we both do a lot of work around promoting, getting visibility on posts about it, and inviting lots of people.
Yeah, and that's it, and that's the key part, is you can't be reliant on LinkedIn to get your bums on seats. Really, we've had to sit there and find the workaround and do the legwork of getting people to attend, and also making sure people watch the replay as well. So for us, we've had to really, and that's the part of the workflow that I think is actually one of the key parts that we've learned.
Yeah.
And we also do, like, straight after a live, we'll go into the LinkedIn write-up and change the blurb on the original event just to update that. And then we also send emails to the people anyone who is listed as down to attend, because most people wouldn't have made it live. So we send them a link to watch. And we also connect with anyone who signed up who we're not first degree connections with. So we've kind of built out this workflow that really works for us. And it's all about, I guess, building up momentum, connections, a relationship, our visibility. So it's kind of, we have that works around it, which I thought was probably worth sharing. And maybe I'll make a diagram.
Definitely. I mean, particularly, like, the invites, obviously, you invite people you think it might be might be useful to, but that's another way of actually being visible, boosting your visibility in front of people who might not be that active on LinkedIn, people who might not engage with your posts normally. Send them an invite to an event. So you can use it in lots of different ways to build those connections and reach people you're connected with that wouldn't normally reach with just doing posts.
Okay, so should we do rapid fire?
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
You want to do it rapid fire? Okay.
Yeah, hell, come on, let's do this. You ready? Okay, so I'm going to go first. Sorry, I'm like shaking it up. She knows that. That's what I do.
We had a plan. We throw the plan out the window.
Out the window. We have a child walk in at the end. It's fine. Let's do it. Okay, so I mean, the key one for me is people still don't know what a LinkedIn Live event is. So you have to do a lot of work so that people understand it's live. Go to my profile. And actually, we're probably going to reintroduce some more description on what a LinkedIn Live is in every one of our promotional posts and where to go when we go live, so that really explicit, so that people understand. That's my first one. Go.
So the lesson there is help people find you, but you don't assume that they know what a live is or what you are doing.
That is
from
the
an
lesson.
event point. That is the lesson. My lesson, I mean, I've already touched upon kind of the LinkedIn algorithm doesn't like. So, one of the things that I think we have learned, we've taken away, is just get bolder with invites, and just because you have up to you have up to 1,000 invites. You can invite up to 1,000 people.
A week.
And we were a week. Blimey, I didn't realize it was a week.
I know. I heard that. I was like, that's insane. But week.
I mean, so we started out being quite tentative with inviting people, and we've gradually built up, and I think there's definitely more that we can do in that area. So that would be the lesson I would take away from that, is if you're going to do something like this, is just invite loads. Obviously don't spam people who it's of no interest whatsoever, but if you've got a big network already on the platform, don't be shy about inviting people.
I think timing as well. So sometimes, like today, it's a lovely day. Personally, I think lots of people are probably going to be walking outside and enjoying the weather rather than being online watching a talk. And no insult to us. So I think timing, how busy people are. Like we said, the one we did about UK Brief was the day after the show finished, and people must have been absolutely shattered. So actually, it probably wasn't the best timing. So it's thinking about those things and not taking things personally, but then just making sure you promote afterwards so that people still see it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just thinking about that shelf life, and there are a lot of unknowables. I mean, it might be that topics where we didn't get sort of great traction. It might have been that we didn't promote it as well as we could have, or did we do the follow up with the content as well as we could have? So there are always all these different elements, and I think the lesson I would say is have a sort of a base level of activity and promotion and follow-up activity, and anything above that is like a bonus, but have like sort of like a minimum level that we're going to do, and
Yeah.
you know, build from there, because it is, you know, it is time consuming. There is a lot of work that goes into these, and there's always more that you can do. And so, you know, sometimes we're really, really busy. So, you know, it doesn't always get the same attention as
No.
other events. And
Another one. Go on.
go on, no, you
You
go,
want to go
you
on?
go.
I was also going to say, I mean, LinkedIn lives can be a bit sketchy, as in they crash sometimes, don't they? You know, like sometimes you watch them, they go up to the beginning constantly. So I think using other platforms as well and streaming there. So for us, we now stream simultaneously to LinkedIn, but also to YouTube. And sometimes when LinkedIn's been basically been a bit bad, basically we've said to people, here's the link to the YouTube so you can watch us there. And I also think YouTube has a longer shelf life for content, for video content, than LinkedIn does, especially long form video content. So I think for me, I'm starting to see my subscribers going up there, and my podcast feed now also completely goes into YouTube as well. So building up that channel, I think, is another thing, or another thing. It's just finding ways to make the most of the content that we're producing. So I say, don't just be reliant on LinkedIn lives. Make sure you have a secondary platform as well.
Yeah, I mean, what we would love to be able to do, but we can't, is to actually simultaneously stream to both of our LinkedIn accounts. But we can't do that because you need 2 StreamYard accounts in order to do that. It won't let you. It will only let you stream to one LinkedIn account per StreamYard account. StreamYard is the platform that we use to do these. The other lesson I would throw into the mix is it's made us be creative in terms of how we promote these events, because the algorithm doesn't like anything that's got a web link in, and by the nature of these, they have a web link. We have to be very creative in how we're promoting them on LinkedIn. You know, obviously invites is one way, but actually the posts that we create, you know, we've created little short form videos. We've done polls. I think we've done carousels. You know, it's made us kind of up our game and think about the variety of different ways, rather than going for the same sort of, you know, post promoting the event. So I think that's a good lesson that we've learned from this, and actually just thinking a little bit differently and shaking things up and thinking, is there a better way? Is there a different way that we could
Actually, I think I've always
this?
done different content types, but that's probably me. Because I
Well,
like to.
yeah, I have, but I think we've consciously done it with these, because you
Yeah,
know, we've consciously chosen to do particular types of post, because, you know, like for example, polls tend to get a good traction.
polls are easy, man. But polls,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I use that
polls tend to
across
get
my
good
LinkedIn.
yeah. So I mean, what we've done is, because you know, a post with a link in on its own doesn't tend to get very good impressions. What we've done is like, well, okay, let's add the link to a post with a poll in it, because polls tend to get a bit more. It's a bit easier to get a bit of traction. So we've thought a bit more strategically about doing that sort of things.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Okay. I was going to say, there's something around the target audience is that we kind of, we always have in the back of our minds, and quite often we will have debates on, are people going to be interested in that? And these are the people we're going for. So we do have guardrails that we always operate in. So have your target audience in mind for all of your content and all that you're doing with your lives. And I think that's quite important. Just I guess it's a sense check, really. Because it's quite easy to go, everyone's talking about this, but you're like, are they really interested in that? How will that be applicable to our target audience and our industry? So we always kind of have those questions in the back of our mind to make sure we are providing value, I think.
And I think something that you touched upon earlier about LinkedIn's push for video, and particularly short form video, is a prompt, because one of the things that we used to do to start with is create little short clips that we would push out after the event. So because you can download the video, and we'd create these little kind of more social friendly clips. And I think the lesson here is we haven't done that for a while, and we really need to revive that again. If LinkedIn's if LinkedIn is going to be pushing video, particularly short form video, then there's an opportunity here. We've created like, you know, a 30-minute video, spliced that up into little, you know, a handful of little chunks. So that's
watch this space for that. That's what we're doing.
Watch this space. Yeah.
That's it really on that, isn't it? I think. So thank you so much for joining us. We have run slightly over, which is absolutely fine because we can. If anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the comments right now or forever hold your peace, really. And
or if you're watching on replay, and you have a question or comment, if you're watching this on replay, then equally add it into the comments, and we will come to it because we get notified when there are comments. Comments on the event post, so it doesn't matter if you're not watching live. Or
say #replay because that's really useful. We can go,
yes,
someone's watching it. Well, it's very, very nice. Anyway, we are. If you're not connected with us, the best place to connect with us, surprisingly, is on LinkedIn. So please do connect. We always love to hear from you. And do you want to do the last line, Stace?
I'll do the last line. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a break over the summer, going off on our summer holidays, but we'll be back in September.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.
Farewell. See you later. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you. Bye.